G'day scrappers, just a little catch-up video. Today what I'm doing is processing copper recovery. So as you can see here, this wheelie bin is pretty much full of copper heat sinks with the copper stackers in there. They're from PCs, so I get a lot of them. I must have 300 of them. They've just been building up. I really got to catch up on all this sort of stuff. So they're from PCs. And the other thing that I've really got to catch up on is my transformers from microwave ovens. So these are the ones with copper and copper. As you know, these days you can find aluminium and copper or aluminium and aluminium. So when they're like that, I sell them just as transformers, scrap transformers. But when they're copper, for me they're worth scrapping out and getting the copper out of it. And also it's obviously very heavy steel, and at the moment steel is, you know, at top dollar, so now's the best time to sort of at least get rid of the steel. But even copper is it's even higher than it has been, so it's just going up and up. So yeah, and then the other thing from microwave ovens is also these fan motors. And so it's really easy. We just get this chunk of copper there. There's also a little bit of copper here. Sometimes I pry out some of this copper, but right now I don't have much time because I want to process as much as I can. So this is the main thing I want. All I have to do is just pop them out and process that. And then the other thing is from CRT TVs, you got your copper yokes. Now I have got way too many copper yokes. This barrel, this is only a small barrel. I've got another bigger barrel in the garage that's overflowing. It's also got ferrite that I can sell as scrap steel, and at the same time most of these I will just sell as burnt copper. And the reason why I'm catching up on this, as you know, I've been catching up on everything. I can actually walk through the garage. How's that? But it looks like there's still a lot of clutter. There is a lot of clutter around, but there's a lot of empty tubs and stuff that I just need to stack them up and get them done. But yeah, been doing a lot of little bits and pieces. Unfortunately, we're back in lockdown. A couple of days ago, they had decided to do a snap lockdown and say, oh, it's for another week. In lockdown number 6. And so I can't go street scrapping, and I was really looking forward to today. Would have been a beautiful day to go out there street scrapping. I was going to go 2 days this week, and now I can't go because we're locked down. We can't go any further than 5 kilometers. So what an absolute nightmare as far as street scrapping. They're once again ruining it for us. But oh well, if that's what they got to do to finally try and get rid of this rubbish that's going on, so be it. So yeah, I've got copper stackers pretty much everywhere, and just had a clean up of this bench just to tidy up all the crumbs and stuff. So the way I do these copper stackers, it's quite messy. So but just looking for a bit of a tool. Yeah, and I do remember back process, there were a lot of people that gave me different ideas. I just can't remember what people were saying, what I should be doing and stuff. And maybe the way that I'm doing it is probably, you know, not the best way, especially with these. Someone recently was telling me that, oh, I was doing these wrong. And well, you know, I know you can, you know, bash them, you know, out, but it's really hard work, especially with these ones with the steel. Yeah, it's just too much work, and because I've got like 300 or more of these, you know, my elbow isn't the best anyway, so I'd neck myself. So yeah, someone was telling me, I can't remember what they were saying, that these come out a lot easier than what I was doing them. on the once a few years ago when I made a video, but oh well, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to get the job done, and sure, this way it's a bit messy, but it's the only option I got right now. I don't want to use a hacksaw and manually do every one. I just want to get rid of them. So I've got this, it's a twin blade cutter. So it's not the, it wouldn't be, no doubt, it's not the best option here, but I got it. I'm not going to buy another tool just to do this job. So I might as well use it. So it does make a bit of a mess. It leaves a lot of aluminium scattered around and stuff, but that's okay. At the end, when I'm finished, I'm going to, just clean it all up, sweep it all out. And I do lose a little bit of copper because sometimes I go a bit too far into the copper, but that's okay. All right, so here we go. So it's going to be this is going to take me quite a long time, so I thought I'd just do a couple of these different ones for those that haven't seen my video from a few years ago, how I get the copper stackers out. Then I'll do a transformer, and we'll just catch up on stuff like that. Okay. All right, well, now, as I said, it's been a long time since I've done this, so I'm going to be out of touch. So, but instead of showing you after I've done like 30 of them and looking like a professional, you're going to see me do the very first one, and I'll make a fool of myself. But this is all I do, right? I don't know if the camera is really going to give you a, see if it works first. Oh yeah, ooh, that's serious stuff. The only thing I don't like about it is having to hold this guard back. Don't know why, but all right. You might not get to see it very well, but it's really awkward. I mean, oh, maybe I can. Yeah, I mean, if you didn't have big hands, how would you hold the guard back? Yeah, I can't see much, so I'm probably hacked right into it. Just trying to see. I certainly went through the copper twice, by the looks of it. I think I just missed a little bit, like half a mil. Yeah, this is pretty rough, so probably not the best way, no doubt, but hey, you just make do with what you got. Now that pops out nice and easy. As I said, when I first started doing these years ago, I was popping them out manually with my hand, and it was just too much work on the old hands. So there we go. We've got some nice extruded aluminium. Well, extruded aluminium is super top dollar at the moment. I think it's $2, maybe $2.10 a kilo. Best time to sell. So here's me copper stacker, beautiful copper. Really nice, heavy, solid piece. Yeah, I did cut into it a little bit, but didn't really lose much, well, 1% of the weight. Yeah, so as I said, they're a bit shinier. They're see, that part doesn't look bad. So some of them might be okay for melt. I mean, they'll be all really good for melting. And the good thing about these is they're really good to charge up your crucible when you first fire up your furnace. You just drop 4 or 5 of these down the bottom of the crucible, let these melt first, and you got, you know, good copper, and then you just keep throwing all your oddball bits of copper in there. I'll try not to gas bag too much, so I'll do another one here. So these ones were the more difficult, because it's got the steel bracket there, so well, so yeah, I just can't remember what someone was telling me how I should have been processing these ones, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. So I bend down the fins, obviously, so I can get the cutter in there. Okay, so we want to get through that steel and then through, maybe I should do it the opposite way, so the steel's facing the opposite, but yeah, this is just really awkward to see what I'm doing. Okay. Maybe. Just missed. Just a little bit short again. Should have been enough to... Maybe if I give it a few taps with the chisel. Yeah. There we go. All right. So this should just pop out. There we go. So these ones, they're also copper stackers, but I actually call them goblets because they're a hollow tip, but they're still nice and heavy. So yeah, I just lost that lip part. Right, got no choice because you got to get through the steel. But there we go. That's a decent size. And again, decent aluminium. So that's that, and that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. And well, I've got no choice. Got very, you know, because of the lockdowns so often, and this was a snap lockdown. It was really unexpected, and they did it on a Thursday afternoon, and they said, oh yeah, it's not going to start on midnight, it starts 8 p.m. tonight. So it stuffed up a lot of people, like especially those that run restaurants and things like that. They would have lost a lot of produce. Man, that's loud. Super loud. Yeah, this one I probably hacked into it a little bit too much, but bugger it. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm out of touch with this job. So yeah, I definitely lost quite a lot, but it's I need to maybe get something that I can stand up a milk crate, so I got a bit more view of it, because yeah, it's pretty high and it's really awkward. So anyway, that's my problem. So I thought yeah, I might as well do a bit of a catch-up video. I was really expecting to do street scrapping videos, but well, still okay. So for those that haven't seen me or anyone else busting into these microwave oven transformers, and this one must have been an old one, because this one's huge. So you can see the seam there, and basically we want to split these two blocks of steel, and we get into it through this seam. You can see the seam on the other side. There's also kind of a seam on the top here, but that doesn't really go anywhere. It's the two base seams. So we'll just see how much we've got to get into it. All right, trusty old chisel. Okay, so we just want to chop along, get a straight line if we can. Okay. Okay. I think I'll go this way. Yeah. I used to get comments about this vise. This vise, I used to work at a motorcycle shop when I was a kid, and this was their old vise from the workshop. It's done a lot of work, welding and all kinds of things in the old motorcycle workshop. They used to build choppers and stuff like that, and so I took it home when they replaced it, and it's been here ever since. Actually, I think I used to use this one. So I've had it for like 30 years, and it's probably 30 years old before that. So it's probably at least 60 years old, this vise. So I can see what I'm kind of doing wrong now, because I've got it viced up this way. When this seam starts popping, it's not going to actually open, because obviously I got it squeezed. So I did have it in the right way at the first place. So yeah, it's a bit awkward when it's been so long doing these things, and I don't recommend stockpiling them as much as I did anyway, because there you go, see what I mean? Because I had it the other way, it was never going to pop open like that. So that's it, done. It's really simple, and it's really nice steel. This steel actually will go as, even though it's all individual plates, because it's a solid piece like that, it'll actually go as in-size high-grade steel, you know, instead of just regular pressing steel. Just depends on how many I end up with. Would depend on whether I take it in as high-grade steel, if I could be bothered. So there's our first copper coil. Okay, and we should be able to just, if I remember well, just knock this out. There we go. Copper. Okay, got to take it to the scrapyard as number 2 copper, burnt copper. Got to take off this paper thing. So just sort of snip it off. Usually don't have to worry about the plastic. I've even seen them with these on. So there you go, that's burnt copper. And or is it? Actually, I don't think this one is. I've made a mistake. I might have actually kept this transform. Yep, well there you go guys, I've made a mistake, so it's a good what I should have done is just made sure, but that one's copper. Usually, always, this one's aluminium. You know, don't know if you could see, but it's I've scraped into it and it's shiny. So, you know, silvery. So it's aluminium. So that's just aluminium. So I can still throw it into aluminium. It's just a copper-coated aluminium or anodized. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's only aluminium. Well, that's a surprise. Yeah. Normally, when I get a fresh one, yeah, you always, it's usually the bottom one that will first show up as aluminium. Okay, so that's definitely copper. I can see copper underneath. And then when that's copper, the bottom one, then this is always copper. It's only when the bottom one is aluminium, sometimes the next one can be aluminium. But since we're there, we might as well pop this out. And so turn it around a bit. So yeah, it could be aluminium, but usually, especially with these older ones, they're usually half and half. Just gotta wedge it out. Okay. Okay, so you can see what I mean. See, it's all just individual plates, this steel, and so you can, you know, pry them apart, you know, just like 100 little plates. But like that, it's high grade steel. So I think the minimum is about 6 mil, so that's about right there, 6 mil thick. All right, and we've got a little bonus bit of wire, usually always in the middle. And these ones are a bit messy because they're totally covered in the stuff. So yep, yeah, so it is copper. Only because it's old. If it was a newer one, it would have been a pretty good chance. If this was aluminium, then this would be aluminium. But when this is copper, the base, like that one, this base, when that's copper, that's always copper. Right? Because, yeah, I don't know why, but that's just how it is. But when it's aluminium, then half and half chance. But old ones, usually always copper. They're the only ones I take out. So this one, if I knew that this was aluminium, I probably would have just left it and sold it as a transformer because, you know, scrap transformer. But in this case, so what I'll probably do with these is stack these up and, yeah, and then clean them out. All right. Oh, some more steel wrapped. I'll do one more. And yeah, I'll probably make this a reasonably short video. So we've got our seam. Try and make our little starting lines. Doesn't want to sit. So it's just a bit of elbow grease, but this is the only ones that I want to actually put a lot of elbow grease into, because if I do it manually, these copper stackers probably do more damage than worth, you know. Got to look after your main tool of work, and that's, as a scrapper, that's your hands and your arms, your elbows, and no point doing damage and not being able to work for a long time. So I'm jealous of the guys that are out there scrapping today, that are in that area. They're probably cleaning up, but good luck to them. I'll just be a good lemming and stay out of public view. God. Yeah, this one's just not, I don't think it's sharp enough. This one's a bit more, got a bit more point to it. God. I think I see the problem. Yeah. Oh God. How out of touch am I, hey? Buddy, eWaste Ben, you think you'd be bloody bit more professional by now. Well, hey, you know, a lot of guys do these on a regular basis. Me, silly me, I just stack them up for 2 years and okay, let's get a better line. If worst comes to worst with this one, I'll just put it in transformers. But we want the copper. I'm really out of touch, I tell you. I never used to have this problem of wobbling around, so it might be just these 2 transformers. Just wondering. Yeah. See, these are a lot smaller, but you know, I've already scratched. Well, most of these will already be scratched to when I first took it out of the microwave. Copper, and then I don't have to worry about scratching that. If that's copper, that's always copper. It's all about the bottom one. It's not all easy work scrapping e-waste. Computers and servers and switches, oh, that's all easy stuff. When you're going for the copper from motors and stuff like that, then it takes a bit more work. Man, I am not doing very well. I suppose I just got to persist here since I've started. Might edit this part out and say, oh yeah, got that out pretty quick. Okay, so we've got a split, just a couple more. There we go. Oh. Open sesame. There we go. Yay. Well, okay. Now, after we've squashed the guts out of our copper, there we go. Phew. Yay. Okay, burnt copper. It's just basically copper that's lacquered with that sort of stuff. Number 2, copper. Okay, and now big chunk. We're gonna okay. And this vise doesn't have the jaws, but it actually works out good without the jaws, because you know I've got an angle there where things can sit on it. Which is why I never bother to put new ones in. There we go. Come on. There we go. That's a decent wad of copper there. Just wish they didn't put so much tape over them. But, yeah, all I'll do, I'll just clean off as much as I can to make it look respectable. Get out the insulated. So you even get a bonus bit of insulated wire, and well, it's all good price, but actual copper is kind of went up a little bit this week again, but insulated wire kind of really just stayed the same. So they want their clean copper, the scrapyards. There we go, all adds up, even though it's probably just aluminium wire. Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, we just, because they know, you know, scrapyards have seen this 1,000 times over, so they know people aren't going to peel off every bit of tape on these second ones. So there we go. Just try and make it look. Oh well, hopefully we'll get away with it. So there we go. Thank goodness for that. And that's why they take a bit, because they're wedged in this E for eWaste. How's that? E, W, no, I just got to find the rest. eWaste. But yeah, that's decent. Like I said, because of the scrap steel prices are so high at the moment, you know, I mean, I don't think they're going to go down anytime soon. But you know, when it comes to scrap steel, best time to sell is when it's high, because it's not worth stockpiling. So these are the motors for the fan inside the microwave ovens. So even if the microwave oven is in the inverter type, which you still get some copper out of it, these are always in there. For the fans, these are simple. We just have to pop it out. Okay, wish everything was that simple. So like I said, there is a little bit of copper here. You can cut it out, but it's you know, if you only get one or two and you're processing them immediately, no worries. Cut it out if you've got a bit of time. So I probably got as many as these, almost as I probably got twice as many of these than I do transformers from the microwaves, simply because not all the transformers are copper. But it's certainly going to help add up steel weight. There we go. There you go. 4 of them, nice and easy. And now it's just a matter of peeling off the plastic off the ends. You can see this solid piece of steel in there as well. Well, it's still the plates. So we only have to take off one end. And this is the fun part. So, you know, once you've taken these out, and if you've got a whole stack of them, you know, this is a kind of job you can give to your kids. You know, they can have fun, because the copper wire is really soft and, you know, fluffy, and so, and it's quite clean too. So easy job to keep the kids occupied. And yeah, forgot I've got my coffee still sitting there. Until you get to the last strand, when only one strand in it, and you just slowly, kind of got to be gentle when you're pulling and let it come. Nice. But yeah, as you can see, great job for a kid to do if you want to get him into scrapping, you know. So when they go to college And the teacher says, well, son, what do you want to do for... I'm going to be a scrapper. Yes. Yeah. Okay, well, you probably don't need to go to college. Well, the only thing better than a scrapper is a scrapper with an education. All right, I'll just get some coffee. Right, now, so that's these. This one's got really thick plastic. So I've done copper stackers so far. I've done the microwave transformers. I've done these little microwave motors. So there's only one thing left for me to start processing, and that's the copper yokes from CRT televisions. I decided to use really thick plastic on this one. Just because they could. There we go. But that's really nice clean copper. So yeah, if you don't get all the plastic, you got little sharp edges, it slows down the process. But you can see this is almost Milbury copper, you know. Even this sort of copper, even though it looks like it's bright and shiny, it probably still have a little bit of lacquer on it. I'll just try and cut away a bit more. I'll get onto that. Oh, there's probably wow. Oh yeah, there's something I wanted to mention to someone if they're watching. You never know. But yeah, I've definitely got to get onto these yokes. I noticed something when I opened this up. Oh. Now, someone in the comment section, I can't remember who they were. There's too many comments to go back and try and find one comment or two. But they mentioned, I'm pretty sure they mentioned these military testing boxes, and I'm pretty sure someone wanted one. And I think when they first asked, I told them that I probably do have them around, but I have no idea where they are. They're buried somewhere. Well, here's one of them. Oh yeah, and there's another one in there. Oh, that's good. So it reduces a bit of the weight. So these are military aviation things. Okay, these were actually in service and still got the tag on them. They decommissioned them. Unit A. So yeah, these were out in the field. I remember when I got a lot of these. I even had some that were like in fires and stuff like that. But they're really cool for, like, you know, if you're into this sort of stuff like man cavey or military. It's just a good little thing to have on the shelf. It just looks cool, you know. And so all these ports, I can't remember, I think they sort of sit on the back of their things, and yeah, just all different input, 28 volt DC. So it's probably, you know, to what is it? Well, it says it's a power supply, so obviously, yeah, it got those beautiful gold pins in there. So, you know, probably for various items, communications, nuclear weaponry. So I'll put this one in, but it looks like there's a second one. So if that guy wants to, yeah, there's definitely a second one in there, wants to contact me and wants to pick one up and do a trade, swap, I'll swap for anything that I can get value. But yeah, I'll probably keep one. And there's a toroidal transformer. Well, I don't have to do much with that. I think I just kept this one. I've got quite a, wow, they're nice gold pins. Look at that. They're almost an inch high. They're super gold pins. That's, and on this side, so that they go all the way through. That's, they are about the highest grade gold pins. 1995, made in Japan. So yeah, they're super. There's a couple of them, super duper. Yeah, so, well, I think I'm just blabbering on now. Yeah, I didn't want to make a real long video here. But just to give you an update on what I'm doing since we're in lockdown. But you know, like just this area here, I've got a tub here just temporarily because I take one tub to one of my clients and fill up stuff from there, so I need one empty. There's only 3 PCs sitting there. They all look like servers, or 2 of them are. Normally this has got 4 or 5 stacks of PCs. It's overloaded, so I'll clear off them and get into the garage. And only got about 4 PCs left there and a couple of bits and pieces. Yeah, all these PCs are all scrapped. They're all going to be loaded into the van tomorrow morning and take them to the scrapyard. But as you can see, I've really got into the garage. Awesome. Can't complain. Just got empty boxes and tubs everywhere, and once I get into that, awesome. I actually took out the shelving out of my new van out of the back to make more room, and I also took out this vapor box. So this vapor box is to carry around oxyacetylene, and as you can see, there's a steel pipe here and that goes through the floor. I had to patch up the floor, and so obviously it lets the vapor escape from the vehicle. Don't know what to do with it, but oh well, one day someone might say, I'll take that off your hands, or I can use it for something else. But yeah, I've got to do a couple of scrapyards runs, scrap steel, and then I've got quite a bit of insulation and cast alley, and now I'm going to have quite a bit of extruded aluminium from these heat sinks. So obviously copper yoke from a CRT TV. I'm not really set up yet because I like to I like to get these bricks and make like a little fort. So when I'm smashing these up, all the bits fly into that little fort. So otherwise, you know, stuff's going to go everywhere. But simple. And yes, I've got safety glasses on. You know. There we go. So this one was quite an easy one. So there are our 2 inner pieces of burnt copper ready to go. And then we've got, so this one was obviously from a CRT monitor as opposed to a CRT TV. The reason why I know that, there's a nice piece of ferrite. So this stuff here, it goes as, it's magnetic. So it goes as, you can throw it into just your normal pressing steel, but it's very brittle, you know, so it just breaks up. So it's, I'm not really sure what the material is. I mean, there's obviously steel within it, but there must be some sort of clay, or who knows. But yeah, I know it's a CRT monitor instead of a TV because it's got this extra piece of this copper ring that sits right on the outside. So that's a bonus, and it's usually, you know, you can get away with this being Milbury copper. It's pretty close to being bright and shiny. Beautiful. So this is the sort of copper I like to keep. I don't sell because This is what I like to melt and make pure copper ingots, just for personal use. So 1, 2, 3, and you can see the difference here, right? So this is obviously lacquered. It goes as number 2 copper or burnt copper, and look at the difference, you know, completely different. Clean, lacquered, completely different. And same with these. Take out the ferrite, and just yucky chunky glue, try and take off a bit of that, and then peel off these sticks, just so it doesn't look so bad when you're taking it to the scrapyard. It looks a bit cleaner, but I've let these go overboard once again. I keep doing it with these things. So now I've got 2 barrels of these, so there's probably 120, 140 of them. So it's a lot of work, to tell you the truth. But, and this is really yucky because it's got too much of this plastic stuff, and you don't want them to downgrade. So, and you got extra bonus, these couple of little coils. So I normally just let me get up with these. There's 2 cores. There's one that's kind of reddish and one that's clean, good copper for melting. So these are just nicely wound. There we go. So all this is nice clean, I keep for melting. And this one here, I don't bother unwinding. Can break off a little bit. I just throw these into transformers, and you can sit there and unwind and you get your burnt copper, but I just put them in transformers because they're, you know, it's mostly plastic and copper. So there you go. And yeah, these, try and get as much glue off as I can so it doesn't look so bad. But if they try to, if they said, oh no, this is something else, or you know, they wanted to really downgrade, I'll just take it back. Certainly don't leave anything if they want to downgrade it. So you can see the mess. This one wasn't so bad. Sometimes they can make a real spread out all over the place. So yeah, I use these blocks and I just make a little fort and contain it, but just on one yoke. So you got one, the 2 outers, the 2 inners, and the top part that was from the because it's a CRT monitor, and the bits out of there too. So yeah, pretty darn good. So once again, so that's a CRT monitor, computer monitor, because you can see the copper ring here. Okay, so that ring just pops off, and you know, these are, you know, really nice. You just cut through, and there we go, just all flies out, and it's just beautiful ready to go copper for melting. Can't get any better than that. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Look at the difference, completely different. And yeah, as I said, CRT monitor, so there's those 2 coils. Right, so get more copper there. Even with these things, there's a little spool here. Sometimes I undo them, sometimes I just throw that part into, or you can throw this whole board into just low grade board if you can't be bothered. And again, we've got a copper. And so from a regular, it's hard to tell which one's that's a regular TV. Well, these also have the spools, but they're different. So here they're the 3-pronged. So these ones, I just throw them straight into transformers. I just don't have time to sit there and unwind, but some people do, and you know, if you've got time, there you go. For me, and they just sort of slide out of their little things. Well, this one doesn't. But yeah, if you've got time, you can unwind. But for me, all I'll do, I just split them. So I get this little bit of copper, because it didn't take me any time. I put that in burnt, and transformers, good enough. And there's our old CRT TV yoke. This one will be brittle, just by the old plastic. Okay, yeah. Oh, oh. If I come up a bit. There we go. And just as well, I had safety glasses on because something did hit one of the lenses. So there you go, you know. So you can think, oh, it's a simple job, and you just, oh yeah, I'll just do this one quickly. Won't bother with safety glasses. Hey, that's the time when you can have an accident, is when you least expect it. You think, oh yeah, I'll get away with it, and bang. So it's just even a good reminder for myself. Anytime I'm smashing things or using an angle grinder or a cutter, especially cutting into metals and stuff, because once, oh, it was a few years ago, once something hit me in the eye, and I thought, you know, for quite a few days it still felt like in there. So I had to go to hospital and get them to check it out, and they couldn't find anything. But I was saying, well, there's definitely something there, but no, and it went away. So it must have just been a little cut or something. So as you can see, only 2 yokes. Oh, battery just went flat. But anyway, have I got my work cut out for me or what? My gosh, I'm really not sure I'm going to be able to process everything, but I'm gonna try and do as much as I can. Maybe even at least try and get rid of 1 tub of yokes. Goodness. But hey, what else am I going to do? I'm in lockdown, so I can't do a great deal more. Used to walking around the garage to get to the other side. You know, I keep forgetting that I've actually got a pathway in. But yeah, there's another barrel there that's full of yokes. That's been full a few times, and I've scrapped them out. And yeah, but I'm not really picking up many CRTs anymore. There's not many around. And it's just a little bit of a hassle for me to get rid of them when I'm only getting 1 or 2 at a time, so rather than having him stick around. But yeah, and probably next video I might actually start doing inverters. I've got all these inverters. They're 4G inverters. They're no good for apparently they're no good for power walls and stuff, but I've got probably 5 or 6 of them around the other side. I picked up a whole bunch of them, so yeah, I might do them. And yeah, not sure what to do with all these old vintage hard drives. They're spectacular boards. Just not sure what to do with all of them. There's too many of them. I'll probably just keep a few oddball ones and some of the good specimen of the ST225s. Like that one looks like it's in pretty good. It's got the cover, so yeah, but yeah, I've got to start processing them too. Still got a lot of work, but gosh, I've got rid of so much. You wouldn't believe how many scrap runs I've done with scrap steel, empty PCs. You know, it was just 2 days ago that I did about 35 PCs in a row. So that guy, if you want that military power unit box, I'll pull the other one out, and you can have one of them. I don't generally like to sell stuff like that. You know, I prefer to swap, you know, for something that I can get some value out of, as long as it's not too hard to work. Yeah, so, but this is going to be me. A lot of burnt copper. And yeah, that's all I'm going to do for the rest of the day. So I thought I'd just do a quick catch up, let you know that I'm not street scrapping because I'm back in lockdown, and even though they said it's just for 1 week, as usual, and it doesn't look like it's going to end, because they're getting finding more cases. So virtually most of Australia is in lockdown at the moment. You know, Melbourne and Sydney, so the two most populated states or cities, and Queensland, they're in lockdown as well, and everywhere. So all you guys in Australia that are in lockdown, look after yourselves, keep happy, just keep scrapping, have a bit of fun, don't let it get to you. You know, keep one step ahead of the pack, and remain positive. I don't really talk about that sort of stuff, lockdown or, you know, virus or anything like that much. You know, I prefer not to talk about it. You know, people talk to me about it, I said, oh yeah, well, let's move on. Well, I got about, what, probably 60 copper stackers, and they're there too, right here. So I think for now, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the day. But yeah, there's me aluminium, get rid of that. Alright guys, well, like I said, just a catch-up video. Hope that was a bit of fun. Yeah, and let us know what you're doing if you're in lockdown, what you're doing to keep yourself occupied, and yeah, it'll be all good. One day we'll come out of it, you know. They'll have everyone, you know, vaccinated and all that, you know, and, you know, instead of people having the virus, they'll be just walking around like zombies, who knows. Oh well, I might pick some parsley for a salad, some nice kale. This is a walking stick kale. It's a bit floppy, but they normally grow about 6 foot tall. You just keep breaking off from the base, and it just keeps getting higher and higher. Or they call it 1,000-headed, because you can literally get 1,000 leaves if they're grown properly. And I just feed them to me chickens. They like kale, and sometimes I put it in stir fries and stuff. Still got heaps of mandarins non-stop. They're only small, but the only thing I don't like about them is that this was meant to be a Japanese seedless variety when I bought the plant, and there's virtually a seed in every one. Alright, well, keep scrapping. I'll get onto vintage PC video soon too. Scrap out the ones that I don't want. Some really awesome vintage PCs. Get the CPUs and gold recovery and all that. But keep scrapping, have fun, and I'll catch you really soon.